Learn about the world. Slovenia. Slovenia is a country located in south-central Europe. It lies at the crossroads of Europe's cultural and trade routes. It borders Italy to the west, Austria to the north, Hungary to the northeast, Croatia to the south and southeast, and the Adriatic Sea to the southwest. It covers 20,273 square kilometers. Basic information. Full name, Republic of Slovenia. Government type, Democratic Parliamentary Republic. ISO, C, SVN. Country code, C. Time zone, +1 o'clock. Telephone code, +386. Capital, Ljubljana. Major cities, Maribor, Kranj, Celje, Koper. Largest cities or towns in Slovenia, Maribor, Celje, Kranj, Koper, Velenje, Novo Mesto, Tuj, Kamnik, Trbovlja. Area, 20,274 square kilometers. Terrain, Alps in the north. Plateaus over 1,000 meters wide in the southeast, karst limestone areas with caves in the south-southwest, hills in the east, and about 50 kilometers of coastline on the Adriatic Sea. Climate, mix of continental, alpine and Mediterranean, with cold winters and warm summers. Population, 2,130,850, 2025. Major ethnic groups, Slovenes 83.06%, Croats 1.81%, Serbs 1.98%, Bosniaks 1.10%, Hungarians 0.32%. Montenegrins 0.14%, Macedonians 0.20%, Albanians 0.31%, Italians 0.11%, Roma 0.17%. Religions, Roman Catholic 57.8%, 15.7% unanswered, Atheist 10.1%, Orthodox 2.3%, Muslim 2.4%. Language, Slovene, official, Hungarian, Italian spoken in border areas, German common near the Austrian border. Bosnia, Croatia, and Serbia are spoken by a minority, 6%. English is widely understood by business people and students. Natural resources, coal, mercury, timber. Agricultural products, potatoes, hops, wheat, sugar beets, corn, grapes. Livestock, sheep. Poultry. Industries, aluminum smelting and products, lead and zinc smelting. Electronics, including military electronics, trucks, electrical equipment, wood products, textiles, chemicals. Machine tools. Exports, industrial goods, transport machinery and equipment, chemicals, foodstuffs. Export partners, Germany, Italy, Austria, Croatia, Slovakia, Hungary, France. Imports. Transport machinery and equipment, manufactured goods, chemicals, fuels and lubricants, foodstuffs. Import partners, Germany, Italy, Austria, China, Croatia, Turkey. Currency, Euro, EUR. Foreign relations. Since Slovenia declared independence in 1991, its governments have underscored their commitment to improving cooperation with neighboring countries and actively contributing to international efforts aimed at bringing stability to Southeast Europe. Resource limitations have nevertheless been a problem hindering the efficiency of the Slovenian diplomacy. In the 1990s, foreign relations, especially with Italy, Austria and Croatia, triggered internal political controversies. In the last 8 years, however, a wide consensus has been reached among the vast majority of Slovenian political parties to jointly work in the improvement of the country's diplomatic infrastructure and to avoid politicizing the foreign relations by turning them into an issue of internal political debates. Slovenia's bilateral relations with its neighbors are generally good and cooperative. However, a few unresolved disputes with Croatia remain. They are related mostly to the succession of the former Yugoslavia, including demarcation of their common border. In addition, unlike the other successor states of the former Yugoslavia, Slovenia did not normalize relations with the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia, Serbia and Montenegro, until after the passing from power of Slobodan Milosevic. Although the Slovenes did open a representative office in Podgorica to work with Montenegrin President Milo Đukanovic's government, succession issues, particularly concerning liabilities and assets of the former Yugoslavia, remain a key factor in Slovenia's relations in the region. On the whole, no conflicts mar relations with neighbors, which are on a sound footing. Numerous cooperative projects are either underway or envisioned, and bilateral and multilateral partnerships are deepening. Differences, many of which stem from Yugoslavia's time, have been handled responsibly and are being resolved. Slovenia maintains diplomatic relations with 189 countries. Serbia and Slovenia maintain diplomatic relations established between Slovenia and the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia, of which Serbia is considered sole legal successor, in 2000. Trade between two countries amounted to $1.77 billion in 2023. Serbia's merchandise export to Slovenia were about $777 million. Slovene exports were standing at $1 billion. Slovene companies' presence is especially felt in financial sector in Serbia. There is NLB Komercijalna Banka, owned by NLB Group, and an insurance company, Triglav Osiguranje. Other companies present in Serbia include Impol, Steklarna Rastnik, Jub, Chimos, Putnina Tuj. Petrol has the retail network of 15 filling stations in Serbia. Serbs in Slovenia are mainly first or second generation immigrants from Serbia as well as from Bosnia and Herzegovina. In the 2002 census, 38,964 people of Slovenia declared Serb ethnicity, corresponding to 2% of the total population, making them the largest ethnic minority in the country. The nations of Mexico and Slovenia established diplomatic relations in 1992. Both nations are members of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development and the United Nations. In 2023, both nations celebrated 31 years of diplomatic relations. Both nations have signed a few bilateral agreements such as an agreement on educational and cultural cooperation, 1996, and a Memorandum of Understanding for the establishment of a mechanism of consultation in matters of mutual interest, 1996. In 1997, Mexico signed a free trade agreement with the European Union, which includes Slovenia. In 2023, two-way trade between both nations amounted to $241.8 million United States dollars. Mexico's exports to Slovenia include chemicals, automobile parts, tequila and beer. Slovenia's main exports to Mexico include automobile and machinery parts and computer wires. A few Slovenian companies, such as Collector, currently operate in Mexico. Mexico is accredited to Slovenia from its embassy in Vienna, Austria, and has an honorary consulate in Ljubljana. Slovenia is accredited to Mexico from its embassy in Washington, D.C., United States, and has honorary consulates in Mexico City and in Guadalajara. Human rights. Significant human rights issues included credible reports of serious restrictions on free expression and media, including threats of violence against journalists by individuals incited by government actors. The government took steps to identify, investigate, prosecute, and punish officials who committed human rights abuses or engaged in corruption, whether in the security services or elsewhere in the government. And there were no cases of impunity involving security forces reported during the year. Respect for the integrity of the person. There were no reports that the government or its agents committed arbitrary or unlawful killings. Here were no reports of disappearances by or on behalf of government authorities. The Constitution and law prohibit such practices. And there were no reports that government officials employed them. According to the Human Rights Ombudsperson and local non-governmental organizations, NGOs, physical conditions were generally acceptable, but some overcrowding existed. There were also some reports of inmate mistreatment and prisoner-on-prisoner violence. Local NGOs and the Human Rights Ombudsperson stated the government-run asylum center and other intake facilities housing asylum seekers were often overcrowded. A significant increase in the number of migrants due in part to an influx of Ukrainians displaced by Russia's unprovoked invasion, coupled with the lack of personnel to process asylum seekers and a dearth of linguistic and cultural training, exacerbated overcrowding. Authorities investigated accusations of mistreatment and documented the results in a publicly accessible manner. The government permitted local and international human rights groups, media, and other independent international bodies, such as the International Committee of the Red Cross and the Council of Europe's Committee for the Prevention of Torture, CPT, to monitor prison conditions. The Human Rights Ombudsperson, together with 8 human rights groups, visited all prisons. The government allowed designated NGOs and the Human Rights Ombudsperson to monitor the treatment of prisoners. The Constitution and law prohibit arbitrary arrest and detention and provide for the right of any person to challenge the lawfulness of his or her detention in court. The government generally observed these requirements. Police generally made arrests with warrants issued by a prosecutor or judge based on evidence. Authorities may detain suspects for 48 hours before charging them. The law requires authorities to inform suspects of their rights immediately after arrest and to advise detainees in writing within 6 hours, or within 3 hours for minor offenses, of the reasons for their arrest. Suspects must have prompt access to a judge to assess whether they qualify for release on bail or should remain incarcerated pending trial. Authorities generally released defendants on bail except in the most serious criminal cases. The law provides for prompt access to immediate family members and detention under house arrest. Upon arrest, detainees have the right to contact legal counsel of their choice and the right to counsel during interrogations, and the government protected these rights. According to NGOs and advocacy groups, the judicial system was overburdened and lacked administrative support, at times resulting in delays in the judicial process. The State Prosecutorial Council also cited a critical shortage of prosecutors in response to a 2021 report on the work of state prosecutors. The Ministry of Justice appointed 23 prosecutors between June and October, bringing staffing up to 209 prosecutors out of an authorized 268 positions. There were no reports of political prisoners or detainees. The law prohibits the incitement to hatred, violence, and intolerance based on nationality, race, religion, gender, skin color, social status, political or other beliefs, sexual orientation, and disability in a way that could threaten or disrupt public order, typically requiring violence to occur for the prosecution of such incitement. The Penal Code also prohibits the expression of ideas of racial superiority and denial of the Holocaust. The anti-Semitism were an estimated 400 persons of Jewish descent in the country. There were no known reports of anti-Semitic acts. There were no reports that authorities condoned or perpetrated violence against LGBTQI+ persons. The law provides for the right of workers to form and join independent unions, bargain collectively, and conduct legal strikes. The law does not prohibit anti-union discrimination or require reinstatement of workers fired for union activity. However, courts have ruled that the right to unionize is protected in law. NGOs reported that employers have informally pressured employees to refrain from organizing or to disband their unions, particularly workers in the metal industry and transport sector. Slovenia's transportation includes road, rail, water, air, pipeline. The location at the junction of the Mediterranean, the Alps, the Dinarides and the Pannonian Plain and the area being traversed by major rivers have been the reasons for the intersection of the main transport routes in Slovenia. This gives it a special position in the European social, economic and cultural integration and restructuring. Slovenian Railways is the state railway company of Slovenia, created in 1991. Slovenia is a member of the International Union of Railways (UIC). Slovenian Railways operates 1,229 kilometers of standard gauge tracks, 331 kilometers as double track, and reaches all regions of the country. Slovenia is well connected by rail to all surrounding countries, reflecting the fact that it used to be part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire and later part of Yugoslavia. Left-hand running is used on double-track sections. Unlike the remainder of the former Yugoslavian railways, the network comprises main lines and regional lines. Electrification is provided by a 3 kV DC system, except at the junctions with railways of foreign countries, and covers 503.5 kilometers, 312.9 miles, due to the out-of-date infrastructure. The share of the railway freight transport has been in decline in Slovenia despite growing slightly in absolute terms. The railway passenger transport has been recovering after a large drop in the 1990s. The pan-European railway corridors V and X, and several E-railways, E65, E67, E69, and E70, intersect in Slovenia. All international transit trains in Slovenia drive through the Ljubljana railway hub, and all international passenger trains stop there. As of 2018, first tenders should be invited for the upgrade of the Divača-Koper railway. Roads, with the share of over 80%. The road freight and passenger transport constitutes the largest part of transport in Slovenia. Personal cars are much more popular than public road passenger transport, which has significantly declined. Motorways and expressways, operated by the Motorway Company in the Republic of Slovenia, are the state roads of the highest category. On motorways and expressways, cars must have a toll sticker. Slovenia has a very high motorway density compared to the European Union average. The first highway in Slovenia, the A1 motorway connecting Vrnica and Postojna, was opened in 1972, but the construction was sped up significantly in 1994. Till February 2012, a network consisting of 528 kilometers, 328 mi, of motorways, expressways and similar roads has been built. Its essential section, the Slovenian Motorway Cross, which is part of the Trans-European Road Network, was completed in October 2011. It comprises the motorway route heading from east to west, in line with the Pan-European Corridor V, and the motorway route heading in the north-south direction, in line with the Pan-European Corridor X, part of which is considered the Slovenian transport backbone. The newly built road system slowly, but steadily transforms Slovenia into a large conurbation and connects it as a unitary social, economic and cultural space, with links to neighboring areas. In contrast, other state roads, managed by the Slovenian Infrastructure Agency, have been rapidly deteriorating due to neglect and the overall increase in traffic. About half of them are in a bad condition. The urban and suburban network served by buses is relatively dense. There are two types of highways in Slovenia. Avtocesta are dual carriageway motorways with a speed limit of 130 km per hour. They have green road signs as in Italy, Croatia and other countries. A hitra cesta, HC, is a secondary road, also a dual carriageway but without a hard shoulder for emergencies. They have a speed limit of 110 km per hour and have blue road signs. The first two bus routes, between Gorizia and Postojna and between Idrija and Logatec, were opened in 1912, with additional 4 opened before World War I. The length of bus lines was 295 kilometers, 183 miles. The buses, primarily manufactured by Sauer, Benz, and Daimler, were small and could accept 6 to 10 passengers. The total length of bus lines at the end of the mid-war period was 2,893 kilometers, 1,798 miles. Today the bus traffic is the main means of public passenger transport in Slovenia, particularly in towns. The main bus stations are in Ljubljana, Maribor, Celje, and Kranj. Pipelines: crude oil 5 kilometers, natural gas 840 kilometers, 2010. There are 3 ports on the Slovenian coast. The traffic is mostly international. The major is the port of Koper, built in 1957. Airports with paved runways, 7. Airports with unpaved runways, 9. The first regular flights in Slovenia were established in the 1930s when the Yugoslav flag carrier Aeroput linked Ljubljana since 1933 with numerous domestic destinations such as Belgrade, Zagreb, Sužac and Borovo. Air transport in Slovenia is quite limited, but has significantly grown since 1991. The Maribor Edvard Ružan Airport is located in the eastern part of the country and the Portorož Airport in the western. Education in Slovenia from primary to secondary schooling is regulated by the National Education Institute of the Republic of Slovenia, ZURS, whose scope includes education programs. Delivery and development. Children first enter primary schooling at the age of 5 if born after the 1st of September and the age of 6 if born before, and finish at the age of 14 or 15. Each group of children born in the same year forms one grade or class in primary school, which lasts until the end of primary school. Each grade or year is divided into 2 terms. Once or twice per term, children have holidays: autumn, Christmas, winter and May 1st holidays. Each holiday is approximately 1 week long. At summertime, school ends on the 24th of June. The school holidays are summer, 2 months, autumn holidays, Christmas and New Year's holidays, and 1st May holidays. While national days are also school-free. The next school year starts on the 1st of September. Students start with reading, writing and counting. Children are taught their native language, Slovenian, Hungarian or Italian. Depending on the area of their schooling, mathematics, natural and sociological sciences, music, physical education and art. In the 1st grade they begin to learn their first foreign language, which is usually English. Until the 4th grade, children receive descriptive marks, and thereafter examinations are marked with number grades. In some schools, sports, art and music are taught by separate teachers or are supervised by an appropriate teacher. In the beginning of the 1st year, a supervisory teacher helps the master teacher lead the younger students into the new system. The 2nd period of primary schooling begins with the 6th grade when children are assigned to new teachers. A master teacher teaches 1 or 2 subjects. All others are taught by other specialized teachers. The main subjects are math, Slovenian as native language, 1 foreign language, English, Italian or Hungarian, PE, music, geography, history and art. Later in this period, Physics, chemistry, biology, ethics and craft are added to the curriculum. In the 7th, 8th and 9th grade they must choose at least 2 hours of elective subjects, and may choose a non-compulsory third hour. With around 40 to choose from. The subjects offered include foreign languages, astronomy, fine art, philosophy, computer science, etc. The grades are the same as in other countries that belonged to Yugoslavia before 1991. In primary school marks start with 1, insufficient, and is the only failure mark. The second one is 2, sufficient, the next is 3, good, then 4, very good, and the best is 5, excellent. The National Education Institute of the Republic of Slovenia, Zavod Republike Slovenije za šolstvo, ZRS, is the main public organization in Slovenia which encourages development in the field of education in Slovenia up to pre-university, covering all kindergartens, elementary schools, secondary schools, music schools, and student boarding schools. High school graduates can enter one of the institutions of tertiary education, university, faculty, art academy or professional college. Currently there are 3 public universities in Slovenia: the University of Ljubljana, the University of Maribor and the University of Primorska. Other institutions of tertiary education in Slovenia include the University of Nova Gorica, the Euro-Mediterranean University of Slovenia and others. According to the ARWU rating, the University of Ljubljana is among the top 500 universities in the world. High school graduates can enter one of the institutions of tertiary education, university, faculty, art academy or professional college. Currently there are 3 public universities in Slovenia: the University of Ljubljana, the University of Maribor and the University of Primorska. Other institutions of tertiary education in Slovenia include the University of Nova Gorica, the Euro-Mediterranean University of Slovenia and others. According to the ARWU rating, the University of Ljubljana is among the top 500 universities in the world. Healthcare in Slovakia has features of the Bismarck, the beverage and the national health insurance systems. Its public health system is paid largely from taxation. The cost of national health insurance is shared between the employees and the employers. Part of the taxes is paid by employees as a deduction from their wages and the remaining part is paid as a compulsory contribution by employers. Sole traders pay the full amount of the taxes. The taxes are managed by health insurance companies. The healthcare system has 3 health insurance companies: Union, 12.4%, Dovera, 32.4%, and Visabekna Zdravotna Poistovna, 55.2% market share. Visabekna Zdravotna Poistovna is a state-run insurance company and the other 2 are private. The insurance companies have contracts with outpatient clinics, hospitals, rehabilitation centers, pharmacies, etc. However, insurance companies do not cover all costs such as SMME medicines. Also, dental treatment is not covered. The government pays health insurance for children, students, pensioners, invalids, those performing activities for churches, religious or charitable communities, etc. Medical procedures are assigned an artificial value of .sm which is converted to real monetary value by health insurance companies. General practitioners get a capitation payment for each registered patient. There are reimbursement limits which can be exceeded in respect of individual patients by negotiation. According to the new legislation from the 1st of January 2024, the employees contribute 4%, at least €10.75, and employers contribute 11%, at least €29.57. In the case of invalidity, the contribution is reduced by half. Slovakia was placed 17th in Europe by the Euro Health Consumer Index, EHCI, in 2024. When it compared 35 systems, it was placed given 45th worldwide in 2023. Statista, Slovak healthcare in 2022 was placed 35th, health spending, 13th, hospital beds, 10th, length of hospital stay, and 33rd, life expectancy at birth. In 2023, Slovakia spends $2,756 per capita on health, less than the OECD average of $4,986 USD PPP. With $2,210 from government or compulsory sources and $546 from voluntary sources. The voluntary contribution was the third lowest of European countries compared, after Croatia and Romania. ATA $2,756 per capita on health is equal to 7.8% of GDP, compared to 9.2% on average in the OECD. There were 3.7 practicing doctors per 1,000 people, OECD average 3.7, and 5.7 practicing nurses, OECD average 9.2. The country had 5.7 hospital beds per 1,000 people, more than the OECD average of 4.3. Financial coverage, with 80% of spending covered by mandatory prepayment, was higher than the OECD average of 76%. Out-of-pocket spending was 19% of health expenditure, similar to the OECD average of 18%. Contributions from the state budget are essential, such as for state payments of hospitals' debt. The state has long given hospitals financial injections. In 2022, the state helped hospitals to the tune of €258 million. At the end of 2023, the social insurance company registered a debt of €415 million. In 2023 alone, the debt increased by $198 million. The Slovak health system consists of public and private sectors. The public sector includes state hospitals, outpatient clinics and health centers, which are financed from the state budget and through compulsory health insurance. The facilities provide a wide range of health services from primary care to specialized hospital treatment. There are 44 state hospitals. Currently, hospitals in Slovakia are categorized into 5 categories, from highly skilled to standard and acute care in a city or region. The only hospital in the 5th category is the University Hospital in Bratislava, where the most demanding surgical procedures such as heart transplants are performed. The need to build a new faculty hospital at the Razsachi site in Bratislava has long been discussed. However, construction has not yet started. There are also so-called partner hospitals, which complement the scope of the compulsory programs of the main hospitals. In addition to the legislative requirements, the condition of the main and partner hospitals is their distance, which must be more than 15 minutes apart. The private sector includes private medical clinics, hospitals and outpatient clinics, which are financed by fees for services. The facilities offer alternative treatment options and often specialize in particular areas of healthcare. One of the most powerful private financial entities is the financial group Penta. It owns a network of hospitals, polyclinics, pharmacies and the health insurance company Dovera. It is involved in several controversies associated. For example, there is a direct conflict of interest between the insurer and the provider, which distorts competition in the market. Another controversy is the alleged lobbying among politicians and violation of the law to provide free treatment in Penta's clinics. Sport in Slovenia consists of a wide range of team and individual sports. The most popular team sports are football, basketball, volleyball, ice hockey, and handball, while the most popular individual sports are skiing, ski jumping, athletics, cycling, and tennis. Slovenia has competed at 15 Olympic Games since its inaugural appearance at the 1992 Winter Olympics and is also known for its extreme sport athletes, such as ultra-marathon swimmer Martin Strel and extreme skier Davo Karnikar. Slovenia is a natural sports venue, with many Slovenians actively practicing sports. A variety of sports are played in Slovenia on a professional level, with international successes. Prior to World War II, gymnastics and fencing used to be the most popular sports in Slovenia, with athletes like Leon Stukal and Miroslav Surer gaining gold Olympic medals. Football gained popularity in the interwar period. After 1945, basketball, handball and volleyball have become popular among Slovenians, and from the mid-1970s, winter sports as well. Since 1992, Slovenian sportspeople have won 55 Olympic medals, including 14 gold medals, and 26 Paralympic medals with 5 golds. The highest level of association football in Slovenia is the Slovenian Prva Liga, which consists of 10 teams. The Slovenia national football team have qualified for 2 FIFA World Cups, 2002 and 2010, and 2 UEFA European Championships, 2000 and 2024. Basketball in Slovenia is governed by the Basketball Federation of Slovenia. Slovenia has participated in international basketball as an independent nation since 1991, when the country gained independence from SFR Yugoslavia. The highest level of Slovenian basketball is the Premier A Slovenian Basketball League. The Slovenia national basketball team has qualified for 13 Eurobaskets, including the gold medal in 2017 and a 4th-place finish in 2009, and 3 FIBA World Cups, in 2006, 2010, and 2014. The highest level of ice hockey is the Slovenian Ice Hockey Championship. The Slovenia men's national ice hockey team has participated in 31 Ice Hockey World Championships between 1993 and 2025, including 11 appearances in the highest division. One of Slovenia's most notable athletes is Anže Kopitar, who plays for the Los Angeles Kings of the National Hockey League. In 2012, Kopitar became the first Slovenian to win the Stanley Cup and tied as the top scorer of the respective playoffs. Handball is a popular sport in Slovenia. The Slovenia men's national handball team has participated at 11 World Championships, and its best achievement is 3rd place at the 2017 championship. The national team has also made 14 appearances at the European Championships and was the runner-up of the 2004 edition, which was held in Slovenia. RK Celje won the EHF Champions League in 2004, when they beat SG Flensburg-Handewitt in the final. Other notable Slovenian teams are Rode Slovan, which reached the final of the 1980-81 European Cup, RK Gorinje and RK Koper. Rugby union in Slovenia is a minor but growing sport. As of August 2019, they are currently ranked 71st by the World Rugby governing body. Rugby union was a moderately popular sport in Yugoslavia. Although rugby union in Croatia was the main center for the sport in Yugoslavia, there was still quite a bit of rugby played in Slovenia. The Rugby Championship of Yugoslavia ran from 1957 to 1991. In January 2025, the Slovenia national rugby union team was ranked 82nd in the World Rugby Rankings. There are also many active local clubs, including RAK Olimpija, RFC Bezigrad and RK Ljubljana. Slovenia featured national teams in beach volleyball that competed in the women's and men's section at the 2018-2020 CEV Beach Volleyball Continental Cup. Ski jumping is another popular winter sport in Slovenia. The first national championship was held in 1921 in Bohinj, when Jože Pogačar won with a 9-meter jump. Alpine skiing is a popular sport in Slovenia and dates back to the 17th century, while modern competitive skiing began in the 1920s. During the existence of Yugoslavia, its national skiing squad consisted of almost exclusively Slovenes. Cycling has a long tradition in Slovenia. The first cycling club was founded by Germans in Ljubljana in 1885 and the Slovenian Cycling Club was formed 2 years later. Athletics started as a recreation activity in the late 19th century due to the Sokol movement. In 1913, when it was introduced as a sport by the SK Ilirija Association Football Club in Ljubljana. Biathlon is a growing sport in Slovenia. However, before Slovenia's independence in 1991, it was a mostly unknown sport and Slovenes achieved no major results until the 1990s. Cross-country skiing has, alongside alpine skiing and ski jumping, a long tradition in Slovenia, but competitive success has only come in recent years. The first cross-country competition in Slovenia was organized in Bohinjska Bistrica in 1914.